Hey everyone, welcome to Marathon Money Inside the Ticker. I'm here with Shabam. Am I saying that correctly?
Yep, Shabam, yeah.
And he is a oil energy. They're out in Canada, man. I think this company has real true potential. He came in on chairman as a board October last year. They have done a lot, and he has done a lot. They have done a lot to really like turn this company around. I read a lot about them, their production, what they're doing, what their goals are, the reservoir, what they have. Um, so I think this is a good opportunity for you guys to really learn, maybe hear from him, see what he do, see his leadership style. You know how we do it on Marathon Money. We want to try to find the best guys. I think I have a gem here. So, but we're gonna investigate. So I'm gonna let him take the stage and let him get going.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Kenny. Thanks for having me on here. Yeah, Shabam Garg, chairman of the board, CEO here at Prospera. This is a heavy oil producer in Saskatchewan with some prolific pools here. And as mentioned, I stepped in here. My background is as a petroleum engineer. Went to the University of Alberta, worked in the fields, operating wells. Always loved being right at the wellhead. Worked for a variety of different companies, some majors like Cenovus, CNRL, some smaller private equity-backed companies. Really wanted to get that full scope of how do these different companies operate? What kinds of people work at these companies? How do they make decisions on the office level, but also on the field level? Get that real good understanding of vendors and the day-to-day operations of the business. So did that, then launched a small engineering consulting firm. Worked for a private equity-backed a company up in the Grand Prairie area. Again, operating wells, making decisions on chemical programs, well site supervision, really tinkering with the wells, trying to understand why these wells weren't producing at their max potential. How can I extract that extra couple barrels per well? Again, 2 barrels per day is about $5,000 a month in extra revenue. So we think about it, Canada makes 5 million barrels a day. If you can just improve each well by 2 barrels a day, there's your $5,000 a month for each single well. So
I looked. I see that you guys have some of the wells went from 2 barrels to 10 barrels now. Am I
yes,
correct?
yes, sir. Yeah.
So
So
you got
we
you have done more than a 500% improvement on 11 of those wells. Am I correct?
Yes, yes. So we have now 18 of these reactivations active. There's a loose land graph here that we had shared when we came on end of October last year. This pool was making about 66 barrels. Now it's about 250 plus barrels a day. And these are slow optimizations, reactivations. Most of these wells have been offline for about 20 years plus. We came back, we installed different kinds of downhole pumps, undersized rotors. We ran different kind of soft nitrile elastomers. Really technical team here we have at Prospera. We are exceptionally focused on the day-to-day monitoring of these wells. We do daily fluid shots. We do daily wellhead cuts, and that's our edge. Is most of the team here in the office has worked in the field. We can communicate with the field guys directly. I myself go to the field every 3 weeks for 3 or 4 days during the weekend and spend time with the vendors, spend time with our field operators, spend time with the landowners. We're in discussions with the MLA. We're really dove right deep into the industry. And the great thing is we've done 18 so far, reactivations. We have 140 to go. Those are in-house, our reactivations um, still to complete. A little bit on the metrics. We spend about 130,000 for each of these reactivations, get about 5.5 months payback. The average well is making about 10 to 12 barrels a day. We are exceptionally transparent to the market. So every month we put out a key wells report. The last one that just got released this morning, and that's available on the website. We talk about each well, we show production graphs, and we have a caption in there that tells you what we're doing with this well and why it's working. And as you can see on some of these wells, we have increasing production as we go, where we're very, very efficiently producing sand. As that sand cut starts to go down, we speed it up 5 RPM. Then we watch it for 30, 60, 90 days. That sand cut starts going down, speed it up another 7 RPM. And That's going to be our strategy. We're not in the business of maxing out wells, creating these huge IP rates, initial production rates. We want longevity, we want reliability, and we want cash flow. We don't want to operate with massive capital requirements. We want to operate
Man,
more
that's
like
what I like to hear.
keep
Cash
collecting
flow.
money, keep
Yeah, that's
collecting
what.
money.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. Cash flow, man.
Yes.
With that being said, man, you reactivating these wells. How many do you think you'll get done before the end of the year?
Yeah, right now we're on pace for 9 more in Q4. Could we accelerate the program? Yes, certainly. We have run up to 3 service rigs at a time. That was back in March that we stress tested the engineering team. We stress tested the field operations team. But what we found is our existing 18 reactivations, they require babysitting. They require that daily checking of the data, collecting data, making small changes. So we don't want to just add wells for the sake of adding wells. That being said, we have 9 more planned in Q4, and then we expect to go at a pace of 3 to 5 per month all throughout 2026. Canada has a spring breakup when the roads get absolutely destroyed because of the frost coming out of the ground. And so that March, April timeframe will be a pause, a time to really look back, reflect on the data, make certain changes, iterate our process, and then we're back at this 3 to 5 reactivations per month stage. And then beyond that, we've identified additional pools next to us that we can run the same type of strategy on. These pools are prolific. However, the big operators just don't care. They have bigger wells, they have bigger facilities to worry about. They're not worried about 10 barrel per day wells. This is not their interest. And the smaller operators have no money. So our peers are extremely undercapitalized. We do have capital. We have a very key board of entrepreneurs, people that have built businesses over the last 20, 30, 40 years, have that success, and they're backing it. All our debt is friendly. We have all insider support. Our royalties are held by stakeholders and shareholders, and our senior secured lender is a very big part of this company. It's an individual. We're not linked to a bank or a private equity firm that can come in and shake us up and say, do this, do that. We lead here as a team, as a board. The board meets every 2 to 4 weeks. I'm chatting with them constantly. I'm chatting with my senior secured lender every single day. We really run this thing very, very tight. And that's going to be the way it goes forward. Is I'm checking every well every day on our production reporting software. 9 p.m. every night, I go in, bang, 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 bang. I check every well, what it's doing, what are the changes, and that's what we need in today's heavy oil environment. This is a scale that's been lost in Canada because over the last 10 years, heavy oil has not been sexy. People have walked away. They said, "Oh, this is terrible business. We're constantly dealing with winter and issues," and we've come in and said, "Huh, interesting. You guys have left a lot of juice here to be squeezed." So we've come in, we've reactivated wells, we're doing daily monitoring. And in the meantime, heavy oil is looking great. We have now excess pipeline capacity in Canada. The Enbridge Line 3 is online, Line 3 replacement. The Trans Mountain expansion is online. We can now ship barrels off the West Coast directly to China and other countries, the States as well, into California. And the heavy oil differential has come from $30 a barrel discount to WTI to currently about $10 to $12 a barrel discount to WTI. So we're getting exceptional pricing. And then the creme de la creme is the exchange rate. So when the US barrel is at $65, you multiply that by the Canadian exchange rate, 1.39, we're getting about $90 a barrel right now for that WTI grade of oil. Take $10 off that, in Canadian dollars, we get about $70, $75 Canadian for this heavy oil, which is competing with where we were getting the same pricing in the 2010 to 14 range, because at that time, the Canadian dollar was 1-to-1 to the US dollar. So a lot of tailwinds here. Heavy oil is definitely on the rise. We have some good government incentives here. We have some royalty incentives. The Saskatchewan government is exceptionally supportive of the industry. And we look forward to just continuing these reactivations and putting out these graphs. We give the market a monthly operations update. We give the market a monthly key wells report. Everything is transparent. We want to show you what we're doing. We're not trying to hide behind a curtain saying, we're an oil company, don't bother us. We'll show you how this works because I love this industry. We want people to appreciate what we do. We power the planet with 100 plus million barrels a day of daily production. That's amazing. Picture that, a barrel that's got 42 gallons. We consume 100 plus million barrels of those every single day. And the industry produces those every single day. So it's a fascinating industry, and we look forward to being more transparent with the market. And just giving the
No,
general.
I already love it. I already love the transparency. I already love what I'm hearing. I know a lot of people's going to love what they're hearing. One question that comes to mind: you have a lot of growth in front of you, a tremendous amount of growth in front of you. How much are you making? I know the 90 per barrel, but net profit when you walk away per barrel, how much are you making?
We make right now at today's price about 62, 63 WTI. We're making about $22 a barrel Canadian in net profit on the field level. That number is going to continue to rise. Our operating costs are dropping dramatically because these pools have a lot of fixed cost. There's a lot of property tax, there's surface lease, there's snow plowing, weed management, etc. The more barrels we bring online, the more we dilute that cost down on these wells. So our Q3 operating cost here will be roughly 30% below where it was in Q1, for example, in the loose land pool. And that's going to continue to drop here as we go. Each additional well, we can run the same operators, we can run the same roads. It's all stuff we're already paying for, more or less. And beyond that, we've gone a step further. We've said, why are we paying these vendors, some of them, to come out, drive 2 hours to plow one road or to do one weed spraying job or to do one pressure truck job? Let's bring things in-house. So we've now got our own pressure truck. We've got our own vac truck. We have just bought our own snow plow. We're slowly bringing things in-house because we are a very hands-on, boots-on-the-ground team. Our field operators are exceptional. They are absolutely dialed in here to this business. We chat almost every 2-3 hours about certain wells, what's going on, what the landowner is saying, how a certain well is behaving. So that operating cost will continue to come down, which again improves your net back there. So we expect to show continued increase. But to answer your question right now, about that $22 Canadian per barrel, that translates to about $500,000 to $600,000 a month in cash flow on the field level, and deploying all of that back in the ground.
Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. So the thing I want to say, that's tremendous. That's great. You got, obviously, I'm off the bat, you can see the undervalue of this. So what comes to mind is that, are you guys gunning for the 1,000 barrel mark? You know what I mean? Where you're doing 1,000 barrel, because you said you got 140 wells by the end of the year, Q4, you should have 9 more active barrels, which would put you at over 25? Am I correct? Or wells?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you're trying to gun for the 1,000 barrels a day. Am I right?
Yes, that's
so
correct.
What is the timeline you see? We know everything doesn't go right. The road is never going to be smooth. You know what I mean? But with bumps and all, what is the timeline you see as a leader that we can share with the audience, retail investors that are watching this? Like, what do you see the timeline is, and what do you see like the revenue being?
Yeah, we expect to be 1,000 barrels a day in Q4. So we will reach that milestone.
2026 or
2025 this year. So
okay.
Yeah. So one thing I should mention, beyond the loose land property where we're doing these reactivations, we have 2 other pools under water flood. Those are straight cash flowing properties. We don't do too much activity on them. We keep them steady. Those are making about 500-600 barrels a day currently. So we got those 2 properties, straight cash flow, not too much activity, slow and steady growth here and there. And then you got loose land property, which is the graph you shared, where we got this reactivation growth. So, you know, the thing with these companies is you can't just go straight to a growth property and start jamming away dollars. You also need other properties that are cash flow positive, that can give you that base production, and then you have one property that grows. So We expect to be at that 1,000 barrels a day of oil, heavy oil production here in Q4. And then each reactivation, we're guessing slash forecasting about 12 barrels each. And you can see in the key wells report that I had sent earlier, and that was released to the market here this morning, certain wells are making way more than 12 barrels a day. So we are being conservative. We're saying 12 barrels a day. It's on the other key wells report. That's also available on the website for the investors. We show certain wells here. We've got our 10 of 7 well here, which is the first one we highlight. You can see here we got all our revenue by month. We got production by month, exceptionally transparent. And you can see here numerous wells, the 1 of 17 wells making 16 barrels a day. The one page higher here, the 10 of 7 wells making 30 barrels a day. And we've got other wells that we continue to optimize and grow. So we're saying 12. You can take, hey, at the end of this year, we got 9 more reactivations. Next year, we got 140 more in our inventory. We're doing 3 to 5 a month, 12 barrels a day. You can see how that growth rate is about 5 to 7% a month.
How many wells do you have active right now? Like, I just want to make sure. How many wells do you have active right now?
We have about 95 wells active total.
You have 95 wells
across our 3 properties. Yes.
Okay. You have 95 wells active. And what's the average you're seeing per well? I just want to make sure it's clear. What's the average you're seeing per well right now?
So on our 2 waterflood pools, we have 60 wells active between them. The average there is about 9 barrels per day per well. On the loose land pool, which is the one we're talking about here with the growth profile, we've got 36 wells active now. 18 are reactivations, 18 were legacy wells, and we're producing about 6-7 barrels a day right now, average 8 barrels a day. We expect that to rise considerably here with these reactivations being so much higher.
Where do you see the average well in a year from now? 2 quarters from now, where do you see the average well producing? You got 8 and 9. Do you see it going up to 12?
Yes.
15?
Yes, 12 to 15, I'll say, is the right number. You're bang on. 12 in our units is cubes. One cube of oil is 6.29 barrels. So we want to have the average well at 2 cubes. That's about 12.6 barrels each. We're pushing hard with projects on the legacy wells, not the ones we reactivated, but the ones that have been producing for the last 50 years. We're working on projects there to add barrels to those wells as well. And some of those are also referenced in the key wells report. So we're showing the market that it's not just reactivations. Also, the other wells that are operating were being operated very poorly, no chemical work, no flush soak work, no hot oil work, old pumps left in the well. And so we're going back there, pushing hard, trying to get more barrels out of those as well. So there is a lot of activity on the ground level. We have certain projects being done every single day. And then our secret sauce, I will say, is we're installing recycle pumps. And what a recycle pump does is we inject oil back into the well. So we're producing, let's say, 12 barrels a day. We then start injecting slowly. We start with 2 barrels, then 4, then 6, then 8, 10, 15, 20. We start injecting oil into the reservoir. And what that oil does is it's injected at 85 degrees Celsius. Our reservoir temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. That hot oil goes down. It picks up sand. It dissolves wax. It clears obstructions. And then we bring it right back up. So certain wells now, we're injecting 20 barrels a day and we're producing 32 barrels a day. So the net production is 12 barrels. That's what you see on the graphs. But in the meantime, we're cleaning up the reservoir. We're not allowing sand bridges to develop. We're not allowing massive wax obstructions. We're not allowing the purse to get blocked. And there you can see some of the production engineering techniques we're using is we're not just sitting here saying, oh yeah, the money's coming in, great, keep cashing in the checks. No, you gotta really look after these wells day by day. They give you very slight signs. They're like little babies, we'll say. When the baby's turning red or it's coughing a bit differently, you got to go and properly take care of that. So we'll see torque jump by 50 psi. We'll see the engine start to sound a bit like it's whining a bit, like there's a bit of load on it. We'll see the RPMs move here and there. So we definitely got to track all of this on a daily basis. We take fluid shots. The fluid shot tells you where the oil is in the well. And we don't want a massive column, nor do we want a low column, because then you can burn out your pump. If you run your pump dry without any fluid lubrication, you will burn it out. And then you got to spend $30,000 fixing it. We have had very low well failure frequency. And that's something I'm proud to say. This is something that people said, uh, you can get these wells online, sure, but they will go down in 15 days. They will go down in 40 days. You're going to waste your time and money. And I said, you know what? Let me try it. How can you say that so certainly? So we tried it, and we've got wells now, again, some of which are in the key wells report. We've been operating for 200 days straight. So, we came in last October, end of October. We don't have that much data, but when the well that the previous operators for the last 20 years couldn't keep running for more than 15 days, we have it for 200 days. That sort of shows you the vision of things are
What are you
an
guys trying to
order of
do?
magnitude better.
Yeah, it definitely shows the vision. What are you guys doing to keeping the wells operating that long?
Yeah, so the recycle pump strategy is one. The daily monitoring is one. We don't speed the wells up more than 5 to 8 RPM at a time. You'll constantly see companies say, "Oh wow, there's a massive fluid level here. Let's just ramp this well up and see what it does." Well, that's going to cause problems. You can't just ramp the wells up. You got to go slow, 5 RPM, 5 RPM. It's a game of patience. A lot of investors will say, why don't you just produce these wells at max capacity? Yeah, we can for a month, and then we're spending money on service rigs, pump changes, sanded in wells, uh, corrosion problems, sand issues, hole in tubing. We don't want to do that. We like cash flow. Just like you, we like cash flow. We want consistent, predictable money coming in every single day. We don't want wells going down. And I think that's one of the edge sort of undercover is we're producing these wells at about 40 to 60% of their max rate. And we'll just keep them chugging there. If oil price tomorrow hits $100, okay, we'll start producing them at 75 to 80% of their maximum rate. In the meantime, we'll just keep making small changes here and there because I'm after longevity. I'm after reliability. I don't want to see rod breaks. I don't want to see holes in tubing. I don't want to see pumps sanded in because then it's 30 grand. I got to spend 30, 35,000 every time on one of those. Now my payback is pushed back 2 months. That's a terrible way to do business. We like consistent production. We've also been doing lots of flush soaks, which is a new strategy we started. We've been doing well loads. We pump hot oil down the backside. We put hot oil into the tubing, coat the pump with the hot oil. We also have a sand suspension chemical that we've run now on about 7 to 9 wells. What this chemical does, it's like a sticky molasses. It goes in and it sucks the sand. It doesn't allow the sand to create these blobs and these big obstructions. Instead, it goes in, it essentially dissolves the sand, and then it nicely flows up the wellbore. So few different production engineering strategies. We're also running a SN1 soft nitrile elastomer. So this is the rubber that's in your pump. We're running something that's very smooth. It doesn't abrase. It doesn't get carved up by the sand. It can resist all of that. And we run pumps that are extremely undersized or under what we call under efficient pumps. So we'll run the pump where there's a large gap between your rotor and your stator. That allows this nitrile elastomer to swell. Sometimes you'll have some sand come in or some oil comes in. It'll swell a little bit. Now think about it. If you ran something that's too big, it's just going to seize up and your rotor stops spinning. Now you got a rod break. Now you got a seized pump. Not a good way, again, to do business. So we'd rather pay an extra $2,000 to run a bigger pump that's under efficient and then avoid that workover. So saving the dollar by spending the dime. I think that's maybe the mentality that we
No,
have here.
I definitely like that mentality. I definitely see the vision. You're trying to make wells last longer so you get the most productive out of them. And I get that and I understand that. Um, Definitely, if you try to max out something, there's going to be more problems. But if you take care of it and don't max it out, you're going to get more out of it than you would got if you max it out for 1 month. And I see the vision, and obviously it's working for you guys. Um, I know sooner or later, very soon, the market's probably gonna catch up with you guys and realize what you're doing, because it's pretty good. Thousand a barrel. So what's it? Thousand barrel by the end of 2025. What is the goal for 2026? You guys gonna try to push for 2,000? Is that like kind of where like for 3,000? Because that would really take your revenue and your profits to the moon. You guys will really be generating money.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So before I answer that question, I do want to share about the market. I have personally bought 23 times on the public markets that's reported to the market, because I'm obviously a director here and the CEO. I've bought 23 times, and our board has as a total, including myself, bought 28 times in the last 100 days. So we are seeing the story. We believe the story. We're putting our own money where our mouth is. The board owns about 35% of the stock here. So we we are completely invested in this day in, day out, and we continue to buy on the public markets. And now to your question, we are targeting about a 5 to 7% per month growth rate. That's on your top line production. So our revenue, our barrels, our sales will go up about 5 to 7% a month. Now, that's where the gem is. When your production rises 5 to 7% a month, your cash flow actually will rise about 10, 15, 18% a month, because a lot of that is very high netback barrels. As I mentioned, our operating costs will come down as we go, because the new wells have a much lower operating cost. A lot of their fixed operating cost is already absorbed, because we pay property tax regardless, whether the well's active or not. We pay surface lease regardless, whether the well's active or not. So with the new wells generating so much more cash flow per barrel, that 5 to 7% per month growth rate translates to about a 10 to 15% cash flow rate, growth rate. And then when you talk about free cash flow, which is after debt servicing, interest cost, and then after your G&A for your employees, audit, etc., your free cash flow jumps 20, 25, 30% a month. So we see that the company has gotten in trouble in the past by guiding and sharing these projections. So we have completely stayed away from that. What we're doing, 5 to 7% a month, and at the end of every month, the market will receive an operations update that shows you what we've completed. So you see what we've executed on, not, hey, here's what we're going to do. Yes, yeah, we are going to do all of this, but that's the 5 to 7% a month rate. There's no year-end target that the board has. There's no guidance that we've formally given to the market. Internally, we have our own models that are 3-year models, so they run to the end of 2028, that we've ran with production, cash flow, project by project analysis, on how we would prioritize these projects. But we see significant growth here as we continue to end the year here strong. And you've always got WTI price as your kicker. So obviously we're in this business because we believe that we are entering a multi-year bull cycle in oil and gas markets. We see U.S. shale production that's plateauing here. We see lack of availability of other projects globally to add supply. And we see demand continue to just absolutely rise nonstop. The U.S. numbers just came out today morning. We're up 400,000 barrels a day in demand, last July to this July. That is insane. We were projecting, companies were projecting, global demand's going to drop, EV sales, we got solar, we got this. Yes, but the world is absolutely thirsty for energy right now. Every single form of energy is going to be at all-time highs. Even coal is hitting all-time highs globally. And we are a planet, the more energy they give us, the more we consume. That's just the more fuel efficient you make vehicles, people started buying trucks and SUVs and Yukons. Yep. It's just the nature of how humanity is. We are consumers, and we will continue to consume.
Yep, 100%. I 100% agree with that, and you're 100% right. We're on the precipice of a bull market. I feel like we're maybe 1 or 2 steps away from everything kind of exploding to a roaring next 5 to 7 years. Definitely, right now, oil is on top of everybody's mind. Definitely in the world right now, we're consuming a lot more. We're driving a lot more. We're burning energy a lot more with these new data centers, everything coming on. energy is starting to become a real factor. And I feel like you have something going here. We're gonna end it on this note because for everything you said today, I love it. I'm like excited for you. I'm excited for people to hear this. But man, anything you want to say to investors out there about your company that would encourage them to keep following you, invest in the company, keep like seeing what you're doing, and then get involved. What would you say?
Yeah, I think the overall message that I'll say, yes, we have a strategy that's working. Yes, we have a vision that's working. We have the growth opportunities. We have the baseline cash flow that's going to continue to rise. But at the end of the day, everybody that's involved in this story, the key stakeholders, the key management, the engineers, the board, we are by nature entrepreneurs. We are not doing this as investors. I've got money in this to try and make 100x or whatever. We're doing this because I love oil wells. I used to operate oil wells, wake up every day before sunrise, go out there, watch every single well every day in the field. That's why I'm currently still driving 4.5 hours to the field every third weekend, spend time out there with the boys, spend time out there watching the birds, seeing the crops, go with the wind. The harvest just got completed. So I think this story for me, for our board, for our key investors here, is about growing something and building something. That's a legacy that to us matters. We are people that have grown up in these smaller towns. We worked in these smaller towns, and we want to bring some pizzazz back. We want to bring production back. We want to bring local growth. We want to have funding for the schools in the area, and we see that as a big missed potential right now in Alberta, Saskatchewan. People have moved to these bigger shale plays. They moved to the Permian, the Montney. That's all great, but that makes money for the large companies. That makes money for Schlumberger, for Halliburton, for Weatherford. We work with local vendors where I know the pressure trucks guy's son, and I go for dinner with him, and then I go and meet with the landowner. He's out swathing with his nephew, and that's what I love about this business is we're producing oil here. Yeah, we're going to make money for everybody. That's part of the business. We spend money, of course, running the business with the local field operators, with the local vendors. But at the end of the day, we're all passionate and we're entrepreneurs in this. And we are very interested in strategic investors that have a long-term vision, that have this, we want to provide something to the world. We want to grow a society. And that's how we operate every single day is whatever we can do to show that. We have our own mentorship programs. We participate in conferences. We go and judge the university competitions. We're out there bringing local swag. We've replaced every sign in the field with fresh new signs. So people know we're here to stay. And this name Prospera is going to be something that they will be seeing around here, because these wells will produce for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. That's how these heavy oil wells are. I can show you hundreds of examples of wells that have been producing for the last 50, 60 years and continue to produce at that 5, 6, 7 barrels a day. So yeah, I think that's our message here. And we're just going to keep on keeping on.
Prosper will prosper. I love it. You guys stay. Hey, everybody, thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. Inside the Ticker Marathon Money. Hit the CEO Prospera Energies. Wonderful things are going to be happening. I can't wait for the end of the year. I can't wait for next year. I already know once people hear this, they're going to get involved. But besides that, peace.